Looking to make some healthier habits this holiday season? Make sure to check out our Moving Through Midlife community over on Facebook, as we are doing a Planksgiving event where we are doing daily plank workouts. We will be doing an advent for healthy, happy hips this holiday season, and then also have a sugar challenge, a 2-week sugar challenge that you might be interested in. Happy holidays! Welcome to Raising Healthy Humans. I am your host, Courtney, a personal trainer and health coach, and the founder of FormFit, a community where I help busy moms move more. As a busy and sometimes overwhelmed mom of 3 myself, I understand that it can be difficult to find ways to live and raise healthy families. It is my goal to help provide you with the information you need to help raise healthy humans. Today, I'm speaking with Marisa Lonic, the founder of Mama Work It. She has coined the term Time MOMagement for those of us moms who are looking to become more organized, more energized, and more productive without having to feel the mom guilt that so many of us do with this work-life balance. So today she is speaking to us about ways that you can manage your time, whether it be through mindless multitasking or self-care, and is providing us a few tips that we can use right before this holiday season to help us make sure that we are not feeling so overwhelmed and staying more present. So I hope you enjoy it.
Yeah, so I'm Marisa Lonic. I am a working mom of 4 kids. I wrote the book Time MOMagement, How to Get the Time You Need to Do the Things You Want, as well as Word to Your Mother, a mama's guide to journal today and slay tomorrow, because I like to focus on time management and productivity for busy moms. That is what I do. So I'm the founder of the company called Mama Work It, where we do just that. I am a coach, an author, a speaker, a mentor, a friend, all those things. And I am so excited to be here today.
And how did you start the time momager? How did you become a time momager? And I love that word that you say there.
Yes. Well, let me first tell you a little bit about what time management even is.
Okay.
Because this is my baby, my term, right? You're not going to find it in Merriam-Webster's dictionary here. So, to me, when I started looking at ways and systems and methods and strategies of time management for moms, I felt like the mom market, the mom audience needed something just a little bit different, because our problem wasn't necessarily that we weren't able to get everything done. We're getting plenty done every single day. It's that we're getting so much done for everyone else and we're doing nothing for ourselves. We're always at the bottom of the to-do list. What happens to everything at the bottom of the to-do list? It rarely gets done. You just push it to the next day and push it to the next day. And that behavior and that habit does no one good, because when you are constantly not taking care of yourself, not doing anything for yourself, what's happening? You're pouring from an empty cup. You're getting resentful toward everyone else. You're grumpy, you're impatient, you're snapping more quickly, and you're feeling depleted and exhausted all the time. So I thought to myself, well, moms are really good at managing lots of things for lots of people, but they're not really good at managing anything for themselves because they're so selfless in that way. So I came up with this time management concept because I wanted to be able to help moms prioritize themselves and what they love and what they want to do back into their lives without the guilt, without the frustration, without the kind of constant push and pull feeling, and be able to really just live their best life, as we all should be doing. So this all really started because I was a victim of this, just like many other moms out there. I had twins. So 2 babies. I became a mom to 2 babies right away. I was a full-time working mom, a wife, had these young kids, and I just felt overwhelmed. I felt exhausted. I felt like from the outside looking in, I looked like I had it all together, right? Like we we were all smiling. The kids were always dressed cute. The house was fairly clean all the time. I had a great job. And then from the inside, I was like suffering. I was, depleted of energy all the time. I was tired. I was resentful. I felt like I was never doing anything for me. And so I was already sort of in this space of overwhelm and feeling like I didn't have any time for myself. And then what happened? Then I got offered a fantastic opportunity to grow my career. And the opportunity was to move cross country and take on this really high power executive level role, which I was excited about because I'm an ambitious woman and I knew this could propel our family further financially. I knew it would be great for my own career growth. I was up for the challenge, but I was also paralyzed by fear in that moment because I thought, well, I can't even get it together right now in this situation. Like, how am I going to take on a new role in a new state with very little support nearby and feel like I'm giving enough of myself to my family, my most important, thing in life, my family, my new job, myself. So I was initially, I was in my mind, I was a no. I can't do it. And then I was plagued with regret and rescinded my decision, decided, hey, we have to at least try this. We have to do it. So we did. And what happened? Well, I learned it wasn't necessarily harder. It was just different, right? You just have to adapt. You have to change some things that you're doing. When you become a mom, I think you automatically are more efficient because you need to be. And what happened? I was thrown into a new and different situation. I became more efficient. I changed some things I was doing. And I started getting that question often. How do you do it? How do you do this? How do you do that? How do you seem so calm all the time? And you know what? I figured it out. I figured out some things that worked and I wanted to be able to help other people do that. And I think because I allowed myself the opportunity that I really wanted deep down, I made it work because I was fulfilling something in myself. And I wanted to then in turn make everything work around me for that reason.
A lot of us know, we're told all the time, you've got to take care of yourself first and then you can help your children. But how do so many moms don't even know where to begin with that. How can you help guide them to kind of know where should they start with taking care of themselves?
Yeah, I love this question because I think if you ask most moms out there to like close their eyes for a minute and say, hey, what does self-care look like to you? What answers are you going to get? You're going to get, oh, a spa day. Oh, a manicure, pedicure, like my nails always looking fab, or, any of that stuff. And while that is absolutely self-care, it's not the only form of self-care. And it's often not realistic to have that all the time. Right. I would love to spend a weekday every week at the spa, but it is not part of my life right now. And I would love to have perfectly manicured nails all the time. But again, that is not realistic for my lifestyle. And I know for many moms, it's not either. And maybe it is for you and that's great. But I think a lot of moms that I work with, it's not. So I think first and foremost, making a list, like brainstorm a list of just anything and everything that makes you feel good. Because in my book, self-care is not just, those luxurious things. While it can be, it's even 5 minutes a day of doing something nice for yourself. And that looks different to different people. That looks different to the same person in a different season of life. It even looks different from morning till night. So this can be something like exercise. It can be something like having a cup of hot coffee, sitting down and having 5 minutes of quiet and doing that without having to help someone else do something in that moment. It can be taking a walk outside. It can be organizing your pantry or your closet. I mean, think about how good you feel when you declutter or when you open up your closet and everything's in order. Sometimes that's what you need in that moment. So I would highly encourage you to just have a go-to list of like many, many things that make you feel good. And they don't all have to work at every moment. Sometimes your self-care needs to be like a Netflix and pass out. And sometimes it needs to be something more active, like working out. So have that list as a go-to because you don't often know when you're going to get a minute, but at least you know how you're going to spend it when you get it.
Perfect. As we come up on the holidays, A lot of things are in motion for us as moms. We are in control of how Christmas or the holidays, whatever it is, we're in control of how it all turns out. So, how can we create some time management here within this next week to ensure that we are being more present during this time and enjoying it rather than just constantly rushing around, making sure everything is in the right place?
Yes, I absolutely love that you asked this question because I think this is the most wonderful time of the year, yet it feels the most stressful for moms because we do feel the weight of the world on our shoulders. And first and foremost, I'll say, who says it has to all be on us? We're putting that pressure on ourselves. So, I mean, I know we're talking about this. This is airing just before the Christmas holiday. So we're a little bit short on time with how to kind of manage some of those things. But a few tips that I have that I recently talked about in a holiday habits workshop that I did were, number one, boundaries. Boundaries. You know, we're in charge of our own boundaries. So if there's something or someone we're helping or something we're doing that just doesn't feel good to us, we have the power to say no and not do it. You know what I mean? Like we have that choice that we can make.
Right.
So getting really comfortable, being able to say no, no, thank you. I'm so sorry. No, it's just not going to work for me today or this week. I'm very busy. I'm not able to commit to that. You know, the more you exercise that muscle, the easier it becomes to actually perform that action. Yeah, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say you are spot on with that, because when you said that, I just cringed at thinking of saying no to someone. But I think if I were to be cognizant now and start working on practicing no, like once a week or once a day, I don't know, that might be overdoing it in the beginning. But I think that would definitely help.
Yeah. And I think we build up this story in our head that if we say no, like things are going to fall apart, someone's going to be mad at us, or I don't know, just like we're going to create World War III. And most times that doesn't actually happen, right? Most times everything's just fine, right? So I think that, like you said, the more you practice it, like start with a micro step. Start with one small thing that's sort of insignificant that you could probably do, but if you said no, it would be fine too. And realize the world hasn't ended, and then maybe add something a little bit bigger and then something a little bit bigger. You know, I also think with regards to that, it's not even about, of course, it's about our own personal boundaries, but it's also about like quality over quantity, right? You know, you don't have to say yes to every single social commitment. You don't have to say yes to every single volunteer opportunity. It's not going to make you a bad person or a bad mom if you're not able to be in every single place at every single time. Focus on a few things that you really, really want to do that are very significant to you, that will have the most impact on your family or on your friends or whoever you're there to support. And then be all in for those moments. Right? Don't be a scatterbrain trying to do 100 things in a short amount of time. Be all in on a few things so that you're fully present. You really are creating the memories that you want to create. And you're not feeling that constant push and pull that you should be elsewhere, or that guilt that you should be doing this versus that. So that's one thing when it comes to boundaries too, you know, is just quality over quantity.
Okay. And then you said there were a few things. So was there?
Yes. Okay. So one tip, practical tip. And, you know, I love to wrap gifts, but I have a lot of gifts to wrap here. I have 4 kids and it's a blessing, right? I mean, I'm not complaining. But, you know, sometimes that can be a little daunting. And I know some people don't necessarily like to wrap gifts or like to do certain things around the holidays. So one tip I'll say is batch it. Have a batch party. And what you do with this is, instead of dwelling on this like task that you need to get done and stressing out over it and making yourself anxious and making yourself sick about it day in and day out, and then procrastinating and then staying up until 3 a.m. on Christmas Eve to get it done begrudgingly, maybe you just set a date and time on your calendar for a specific day that works for you. Maybe you invite someone to help you out or even just to chat with while you're doing the task, and you batch it and you say, from this time to this time, I'm going to be focused fully on wrapping those gifts or preparing XYZ or whatever else, maybe you're not that excited to do. And you hang out with a girlfriend or you hang out with your mom or someone, you really want to spend some time with, and you do it together, or even you just have the company that you're distracted from what you're doing. And before you know it, it's done.
Mm-hmm. Excellent. I thinking I've done that. My mom has come over and she'll help me. And it just makes it so much easier to be able to have someone with you working through that together, wrapping presents or whatever it is.
Yeah, whatever it is. Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. Any others?
Oh my gosh, I feel like I have so many. I have so many, and they're not all totally holiday related, but they can absolutely be applied to the holidays.
Okay.
So, this is something I like to preach about often. It has to do with multitasking. And I know, with moms and just, gosh, it seems like people in general, the multitask is real.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so I follow a lot of experts in the time management, productivity, a lot of successful people in this space. And I know a lot of people out there will say point blank, hey, don't multitask. It's not a good idea. And I have a lot of respect for these individuals because I see like, hey, they're killing it. They're making lots of money. They're living their best lives. Like no shame in that game. I get it. And I understand where this is stemming from, because when you're multitasking things, what happens? Your mind is being pulled in a different direction and you're not fully focused on what you're doing. So again, with all due respect, I have a mantra that's a bit different though, because at this stage of my life, I'm a mom of 4 young kids.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have a support staff here, like, a team of nannies walking around, or a live-in housekeeper, a live-in chef, a personal chef. Like, I don't have all these luxuries right now. And I don't think the majority of your listeners probably don't either, right? So so I would say, multitasking is inevitable in a lot of our lives, but you can be very mindful about what you're choosing to multitask, because when you multitask everything, how do you feel? You feel like a frenzy. You feel like a crazy vibe happening in your head. You feel like you can't focus. You feel like a hot mess, to be honest, right? So I like to say you multitask the mindless. You multitask things that are really, really simple, that you can do on autopilot, that if you messed them up a little bit, it wouldn't be the end of the world. What does that mean? Well, folding laundry. If you're not folding your laundry Marie Kondo style, who cares, right? If you're not packing the lunches absolutely perfectly, it's still going to be okay. The kids are going to eat the lunch. It's fine, right? If you're not washing the dishes, like loading the dishwasher the way maybe you perfectly want to load the dishwasher, the world will go on. So you multitask the mindless. And I like to think of a lot of like house things, because to me, I can do those on autopilot.
Right.
When it comes to things you want to be fully focused on, you solo task the mind full. So those are things you want to be present for. You want to be all in. You want to be fully focused for. What does this look like? It is creative projects at work, maybe. It is having like a real conversation with your spouse that isn't, about the 101 things that need to get done at home, like a real conversation. Having dinner with your family and really being focused on them and not like looking at your phone while you're doing that and checking emails and things like that. So multitask the mindless, solo task the mindful. I agree. And I think this can totally be applied to the holidays. You've got a lot of things going on. Hopefully you're going to set some boundaries to lessen that load a little bit, but you can decide what gets multitask and what gets solo task so that you are being fully present for the things that matter.
Okay. And if I'm thinking about being more present, do you have any tips to help moms get out of the constant list building that is occurring in the mind as well?
Oh, so, the mental load,
yes,
the very heavy mental load, for sure. Yeah. So you need a system. You can't keep all that in your head. That's for sure, because, you're going to feel constantly cloudy because it's going to be so full. It's like think about it in the sense of like you have this beautiful little studio apartment in your head and you are hoarding everything and anything in it. That is not a good look, right? So you absolutely need a system. I don't have one specific system that I tell everyone to use because I think everyone's needs are a little bit different, and everyone adapts to different things differently. And you know, that what works for one person may not work for another, but you do need something that you default on, that you fall back on, that gets that stuff out of your head. So whether that's a paper planner, whether that's a whiteboard in your kitchen, whether that's an electronic Outlook calendar or Gmail calendar, or whatever it is, you need something to get that out of your head and onto paper or screen or wherever. I also like to say, you know, don't create a to-do list the size of a CVS receipt and put the expectation on yourself that you're going to get that done today. Because why? You're going to feel defeated at the end of the day. You're going to feel like, oh, well, I guess I didn't get much done. Well, no, you actually checked off a few things on there. How about looking at it from that perspective? So I like to say, brain dump it all out. Absolutely. Get it out of your head, but focus on only getting 3 small goals done every single day. 3 things you will absolutely hold yourself accountable for. Come push to shove, they will get done no matter what happens in your day. Those are the 3 things you are committed to doing.
Perfect. This is something that I have recently started to do, and it's so true with what you're saying. We think that this, like, oh, it's just easy. It's something I do every day. You know, like it's not a big deal if I just keep it in my head. I don't need to write it down. But it's all the little things that you have to remember in your head daily. And it is so much easier once you just write it all down. And even if it's just, you know, something where if it's like written on a whiteboard, you just check it off. And then each day you wipe off the check marks or something. It just takes that burden out of your head and pushes it somewhere else. And it allows you to have that mental space. It truly, you don't think it does until you do it. So thank you for that.
Yeah, of course. You know, time management to me, of course, it's about organization and tools and things like that. But what's the end goal? You want to feel good. You want to feel free. You want to feel like you have time to do the things you love. And if you have a very busy headspace, a very cloudy, foggy brain, even if you are the most productive person out there and you roll through your list every single day, you're not going to feel good at the end of the day and you're not going to feel fulfilled. What's the point of it then?
Right. Do you have any tips for those, like as we enter into the new year? Is there anything that you would recommend that we can do to kind of, you know, you always hear the new year, new you type thing, planning out. Is there anything that you have in regards to like 2 or 3 things that you should focus on this new year?
Well, I would say I'm a big fan of, you know, new year and new start, but I don't love the New Year's resolutions where you just from January 1st, you like, boom, I'm changing my life, total 180. Like, this is who I'm going to be now. It's the new me. That doesn't work. You guys know that doesn't work. By January 5th or 6th or 7th, you are right back to your old habits. So you can't expect to make a transformational change in one day. You can absolutely do this over the course of the year, but you can't expect to do that all in one day and like do a full 180 and be able to maintain that in a way that doesn't feel so hard every single day. So I like to set annual goals for the year and then break those down into small steps I can do daily. So that is something I would highly recommend.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. For your books, you've written 2 books?
Yes.
Okay. Can you tell me a little bit about each of those?
Absolutely. Yeah. So one is called Time MOMagement, how to get the time you need to do the things you want. That is what it's about. It is about being a busy mom who needs to implement those time management strategies into her life. It is written in a very coaching sort of format. So even though it's a book that you're reading and you're absorbing sort of on the passive side, there's work to be done. You know, like I'm going to tell you to take out a piece of paper and a pen and start writing things down. I'm going to give you tips on how to actually implement some of the actions in there. So there's a lot of really practical hacks. There's also a lot of stories, personal stories I share about my own journey with this. I think stories also make it very relatable. That's the number one piece of feedback I've been given on the book. And it's my favorite piece of feedback because it makes me feel like I'm not alone going through this life. So I love that. It is available on Amazon, or the best place to actually find any of my books or materials would be my website. And it also has something in there called the 3-day test, which I love. It's an exercise that you do to really take inventory of how you're spending your time over 3 days and see what things can change and be tweaked to really get you back some more time into your days and help you reprioritize and focus on things that you love.
Okay.
Yeah. And then my other book is called Word to Your Mother, A Mama's Guide to Journal Today and Slay Tomorrow. This is more of a journal planner type of book. So this is more of an exercise kind of material. And what this is it's helpful in creating a really quick and easy, like 10 to 15 minute habit every night on reflection of your day. So it's a guided journal prompting page where you just sort of write down, how your day went. How did you feel that morning? How do you feel right now? You're looking for patterns. You're looking for things that may need to change or things that you're doing really well that you need to celebrate and remember. And along with some other journal prompts. And then the intention to set your plan for the next day, to slay the day. So it's all about ensuring you're taking time to care for yourself, your mind, your body, your soul, setting those 3 intentional goals every single day and holding yourself accountable by writing them down and getting them done, setting an intention for the day of like, how do I want my day to go? Some days I am really in hustle mode and I will write a word like motivation, hustle, slay. And then other days I know I need to take it a little bit more calmly, and that's what I need. So I will write things like rest. I will write things like, quiet or smile or just anything I really, really want to be intentional about.
Okay. So is the journal something you do in the evening and again in the morning, or you do all of this in the evening?
So, you can do it how you want to do it, but my recommendation is to do it at night. And here's why. When you're able to plan for the next day, the night before, you go to sleep with a clearer head. You're not thinking about all those things like running through your brain. You're not getting anxious about it. You're not waking up in the middle of the night like, oh no, I forgot that thing. Let me write it down before I forget. You've already got a set plan. You wake up with ease. Okay. I personally am a fan of this because I think as moms, we're already getting up pretty early. And if you're someone who's got a really good morning routine in place, which I highly recommend you do, if you don't, you're probably waking up even earlier before your kids. So I think it's great to just do this the night before. The other tip I have for doing it the night before is, what are you often doing when you unwind at night? You're probably scrolling your phone. You're probably watching TV. You're probably on some sort of screen. And we all know being on a screen right before bed doesn't give us the best sleep. So if you do this maybe right before sleep, or you do this and you read an actual book right before sleep or something like that, it can just instill a really good habit to also get you a more restful night's sleep.
Okay. And do you have a morning routine that you practice for yourself?
Yes. Yes. I do.
Because you have younger children. So I'm curious what you practice.
Yeah, I absolutely do. I actually published a podcast episode all about my best morning routine tips, but I would absolutely share some with you here.
Okay.
So I know you are big into exercise. So I will say, for me, working out in the morning is the best thing I can do for myself. It gives me more energy throughout the day. I know it's done because I've prioritized it first thing in the morning. It's my me time. I like to pair my workout with listening to a podcast or listening to a book. That's like, my personal development time as well. So that is part of my morning routine. Drinking water is part of my morning routine. I absolutely hydrate before I drink any caffeine. So drinking water, working out, I would say waking up before your kids is crucial if you have young kids, because let's be honest, like nobody likes getting up to a toddler's face inches from their nose, every morning. It's just, it's wonderful, but it's also like somebody needs something right away before you've even opened your eyes. And, that's not filling your cup before pouring for other people. So, if you can wake up a little bit earlier, if you can even get 20-minute workout in the morning, listen to something that's going to motivate you or help you learn or really develop yourself, hydrate. Those are some of my best morning routine tips.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. And you mentioned that you have a podcast. Can you tell us about your podcast?
Yes, it's called the Mama Work It podcast. So similar to the Mama Work It brand in general. And it is for the busy mom, juggling mom life, work life, wife life, fill in the blank life. It is for the mom who wants tips to get organized, stay sane. It's the mom who is ambitious, who has dreams, but feels like she has no time to make any of them happen. We've got some amazing guests on there, as well as just some solo episodes where I'm telling you about, my strategies and concepts and practical hacks and mindset shifts and all those things. Episodes are typically 30 minutes or less because I know we're busy. And yeah, it's available pretty much anywhere that you listen to podcasts. And it was rated in the top 50 podcasts for moms this year through Podcast
awesome.
Magazine. Yeah, number 28. So
that is great. That's great.
Yeah.
Excellent. Thank you for that. So can you tell me where we can find you? Do you offer any, you have your books. Do you offer any type of programs or courses or anything like that?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
So the books are available on my website or on Amazon, of course. And then once again, my website is Mama Work It. It's MAMA workit.com. That's where you'll find links to social media handles and all the programs and things that I offer. So I'm a coach, I'm a speaker, I'm an author, and I offer all of those things. So if you are interested in one-on-one coaching, I would love to work with you. I do offer a free 45-minute breakthrough call. And I do this obviously because I want to help you break through right from the get-go. And I also want to ensure that we're a good fit to work together and that, you are signing on to work with someone you trust and believe in and is going to get you results. So I offer that. I also have a Time MOMagement 4-week program. Okay. So this is where we run through the time MOMagement concepts. It's a series of videos. It's a series of resources that you take what you learn, you apply immediately right into your life. You are hearing from me daily during these 4 weeks in your inbox. So you are staying motivated, accountable, and excited for what you are about to undergo. And so that is a program you can do on demand on your own time, or you can choose to level up and implement an additional one-on-one coaching session weekly with me for that.
Okay. Do you have any recommendations for those that are working moms, this constant juggle of feeling like their life is out of balance?
Yes.
Can you speak into that a little bit? Is there anything we can do? I feel like it's this constant, and I know that balance is not probably what we should say. I think balance through time, might be better, but you speak about that rather than me.
Yeah, no, I think this is such an important concept, and we absolutely cover it in the Time MOMagement program. And
okay,
what I like, so, okay, 2 quick things. One quick story is one time I was on a job interview and someone asked me how I manage work-life balance. And he quickly corrected himself and said, I mean, work-life pendulum. And I thought that was so interesting the way he put that, because I'm like, you know what, you're so right. Mm-hmm. Right? When do we ever feel 100% balanced on either side? It's very rare, right? It swings both ways. And in the end, if the average is keeping us a pretty balanced, we're doing okay. Right?
Yeah.
So not every day is going to feel like you've got it all together, but you can absolutely feel deep down inside, you've got it all together. And I'll say, I think the biggest offender of that is guilt. Mm-hmm. So there's a whole section in the Time MOMagement program called guilt MOMagement, because in my opinion, you can have all the systems in place. You can have done all the time management work. You can be flexible. You can give yourself, you can have it all together. on that time management piece. But if you haven't managed your guilt and learned how to work with that, it's all for nothing. It's all for nothing. Like all those efforts, all that time, all that work, all of it really doesn't help you in any way.
Right.
So the guilt piece is really, really important.
Mm-hmm.
And this is absolutely something we dive into. I'll say just really high level, really, really high level. When you feel guilty for not being in point A versus point B or whatever it is you feel guilty about. And I think mom guilt comes in so many different shapes and forms. It's guilt for not spending time with your kids. It's guilt for not giving your partner enough attention. It's financial guilt for spending money and investing on yourself. It's work guilt that you used to stay late or go to all the happy hours and you're not anymore. It's so many things. It shows up in all the places. And I think when you think about this and you flip the script a little bit from a place of parenting versus a place of yourself. So for example, I am not going to do that thing for myself. I'm not going to go hang out with my friends because on Friday night, because I have mom guilt that I should just be home with my kids and be snuggling on the couch with them and reading them their bedtime story and doing the routine. Well, let's put this into a parenting example. Do you want to model the type of parent that is staying home bitter or resentful or really doing nothing for themselves and doing everything for their kids, and then see your kids do the same and repeat the cycle down the line? I know I don't want that. I don't want that for my kids. I want them to be loving themselves as much as I love them. Right. I want them to be treating themselves as good as I treat them. I want them to really be putting themselves first and making themselves a priority. Well, how do I do that? I have to model it.
Right.
I have to be the example of doing these things. So that was a big kind of flip the script moment for me. And I think when a lot of moms look at it from this perspective, it doesn't feel selfish anymore. It starts to feel selfless in that way.
Right. Well, and as you were saying that, I was thinking back to what you initially said, and that's truly self-care right there. If that's something you want to do, you want to say yes to it, it's an opportunity for you, then that's really what's going to fill your cup in that moment. That doesn't mean you don't want to be at home with your children and you're going to have that opportunity. But yeah, that's the greatest self-care right there, is being able to do what you'd like to do and not feel guilt over it.
Yeah. Think about how you're going to feel after that task is done, whether it's a task you're kind of dreading doing or a task you would love to do, but you're not sure you can do it because you feel guilty about it. Think about how you'll feel after, and then maybe make your decision based on that.
Thank you. That was great. Thank you. So do you have anything, do you offer any sort of freebie or anything? I'm not sure if you do.
Yeah. So right now on my site, I do have a free training available. It's the 3 biggest mistakes moms make when it comes to time management. So you can download that. And I send a weekly time management newsletter. So this is just free resources, free tips, advice. We have the podcast, the Mama Work It podcast that comes out weekly every Wednesday. And I would just love to have you in my world. So feel free to pop on over to mamaworkit.com and become a subscriber.
Okay. Is there anything else you'd like to say to the listeners?
Do something nice for yourself every single day. Even if it's super small, even if it's just, getting a coffee at the coffee shop versus making it at home and getting a fancy latte, or taking 5 minutes to do some breath work, or, do some stretching, or painting your nails, or getting, I don't know, anything, right. But do one nice thing for yourself daily.
All right. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much for joining us today. If you could do me a favor, if you like what you hear, could you leave us a review or take a screenshot and share your favorite takeaway on social media? And make sure to tag us over at raising_healthy humans. Now go out and enjoy more movement throughout your day.